wonder. Glenn Hoddle back in charge of Spurs. What a way to start. The FA Cup semi-final between Arsenal and Tottenham is live here on Sky Sports 2. We're at Old Trafford. Match commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you very much, Richard. Thierry Henry and Sylvain Wiltord have started for Arsenal 9 times together and only been on the winning side once, but that was against Tottenham last weekend. They're the strikers that Campbell will be keeping an eye on, and if you want to check just how fit he is, well, you can concentrate on him if you're a Sky Digital viewer through our player cam for the first 15 minutes or so on channel 404. Well, isn't it amazing? The last time I saw Glenn Hoddle before today, I interviewed him at Tranmere when he was knocked out of the FA Cup in the most dramatic of circumstances as manager of Southampton. Now they're calling him the King of White Hart Lane. Arsene Wenger, very much the man in charge at Highbury, who was shattered by that FA Cup semi-final replay against Manchester United a couple of years ago. There are absolutely no half measures here. It's delight or despair. There's little joy at just being part of a semi-final, unless perhaps, of course, you're the referee, who is Graham Poll. There's Ferdinand playing for Tottenham for the 100th time today. A minor statistic. Another one is that he's not scored a cup goal for them. This would be timely to change that. Pitch is much better than it was yesterday. They've had to have blow heaters out on it to dry it up from the heavy rain of the past 2 or 3 days. Header by Gary Doherty, who's been very important and made major contributions to Tottenham to get this far. So, of course, as George Graham, we shouldn't forget him today. But this is Glenn Hoddle's Tottenham. Sylvain Wiltord, who has scored 6 goals in the tournament so far, scored in every round. No one's done that all the way through to the final since Peter Osgood for Chelsea back in 1970. Silvinho. Here's Pires. Vieira just holding off the play and making himself available by doing so. A shot by Wiltord.
Exactly on the minute mark. That's what I think Tottenham are going to do, Mark. They're going to maybe concede a little bit of territory here, defend the edge of the box. You can see there, I talked about Everson and Redroth. They don't want to, as the game goes on, be getting pushed too far back. Everson on top of Stephen Carr there. Has to help him out. I think Redroth is going to have to do the same on the other side with Dixon. And that means that Les Ferdinand, when if the ball comes quickly to him, is going to have to be big and brave enough to hold it up and wait for support.
Adams. Glenn Hoddle and Arsenal have both had a good hiding at Old Trafford this season. Both Southampton and the Gunners ended 5 goals adrift of Manchester United. And here we are, the North London derby. An old rivalry at Old Trafford, almost 200 miles away from where it normally takes place. Sherwood. He's missed 3 matches. And a little bit of rustiness there, maybe a disagreement with Perry.
They wanted Perry to play it long, but at the moment, I have to say, Arsenal have come out the traps really brightly. Popping it about, good passing, good movement. Spurs are doing all the chasing.
Here's Ray Parlour. He's a bit flat-footed in the centre, to tell the truth. He's on the move now. And then Neil Sullivan has to grasp it. Sullivan, who was superb in the quarter-final against West Ham. Tottenham did very well in the midfield tactical battle then. Here's Stephen Carr, who's got beyond Silvinho. Adams deals with it at the near post.
Poor from Silvinho. That should be a throw-in. There's nothing wrong with the tackle from Sherwood. I think he's given a free kick. Just wins the ball here. Lovely tackle. Plays it out for a throw-in. That earlier challenge from Silvino, he got caught with the boot of Stephen Carr. That's why he's holding the side of his head. But it was a pretty poor attempt at a tackle, I have to say. That might be a key area for Tottenham, Martin, if they can get Stephen Carr, who we know loves to get forward. So they get him 1v1 against Silvino.
Silvino's only started 2 of the last 15 Arsenal games, partly through injury, partly through selection, with Ashley Cole doing so well, and partly because of the needs of his country, Brazil. Ferdinand. Fans fueled by omens of the year ending in 1. Spurs FA Cup triumph in 1967, the last year the country had a foot and mouth epidemic. I'm also pleased that their fans have got the allocation at the tunnel end here at Old Trafford. That's memories of 91 at Wembley and their successful semi-final against Arsenal. Adams. Pires. Wiltor's pulled away. And Lee Dixon coming in from right back to give Sullivan more early work.
I have to say, Martin, Lee Dixon, wonderful move, but if he plays anything along the 6-yard box, you watch Lauren arrive here. Wonderful build-up play. Now look at Lauren, he wants it, he's desperate. Anything along there. And it's a sure tap-in.
Season started with a winner's medal in the Olympics, a gold medal. Will it end with the FA Cup triumph as well? Sherwood. Everson has been playing as the right wing-back, but he's got Stephen Carr, as Andy's pointed out, behind him today. Over-eager from Parlour.
It's important that Graham Paul doesn't overreact. I think today, with it being the local derby as well as an FA Cup semi-final, it's good to see him just tell players to calm down early on in the match.
Chris Perry having a problem or two with the run of the ball then. Hit his pass. Flick from Wiltor. Henry will collect. Wiltor can get it back. And challenge Perry here. Sherwood trying to give him some help, but Wiltor crosses. Henry to get under his foot.
Oh, you didn't see that too often, do you? He's disappointed. Thierry Henry. Lovely play again, I have to say. Been a really good 6 minutes for Arsenal. They've come out the traps, they've dominated. They've asked a question or two already. Absolute dominance at the moment. It is early, and I would have expected this. It's important for Spurs that they're not out this game, Mark, before they're in it.
I suppose Arsenal's priorities have been with the Champions League, both staying in it and qualifying for it again. There's no doubt the Tottenham season comes to an end if they lose today. Lowry. Dixon setting off again. Lauren. Keown playing in the FA Cup for the first time this season.
I think when you look at Keown and Adams, it's quite astonishing, Mark, that in 2001 this is only the 3rd game that they've started together.
Graham Poll had a decision to make then. There was a chance that Arsenal would have benefited even though the ball had gone forward after the foul by Perry. He's decided it was serious enough to call it back and get the card out.
Yeah, I think rash by name, rash by nature there.
Rash by nickname, yes.
Yeah.
It's Perry. Rash because he's all over you, as footballers' dressing room parlance will say. His style of defending, limpet-like. Tottenham will need plenty of that today, you feel. There have been days in the last year or so when the news hasn't quite been taken at Arsenal. The champion, the UEFA Cup final. It's the Galatasaray recent match against Villa that we brought you. They need to show they're up for this one. The early signs are promising. They've got a corner.
Well, Spurs can't get the ball, and when they do, they can't keep it at the moment. That's the problem. Arsenal, on the other hand, have been composed and confident. Vital for Tottenham not to concede early.
going in. Behind him is Vieira. He's queuing out to head it away. In the end, it was Campbell. And a bit of grabbing by Silvinho gives Spurs some time to get out and maybe get on the ball, something they found very difficult so far. But restarting the game is a problem because Martin Keown has stayed on his knees inside the Tottenham penalty area.
I have to say, Martin, he's not one of those players, Martin Keown. Stays down. Whether it was an aerial clash as the corner came in, he was the initial target. He went for the ball as it arrived. Not well taking a whack on the mouth.
Arsene Wenger, widely attributed as the man who did most to encourage Glenn Hoddle, the player, to think about becoming Glenn Hoddle, the coach. Try and see how Keown was hurt here.
Tim Sherwood catches him, but totally unintentional. Sherwood had no idea Keown was arriving. Glenn Hoddle, I've noticed Martin's been down there for the last 30 seconds or so with Stephen Carr, just trying to pinpoint one or two things, maybe tinker with a little odd thing or two. I'm sure this will be out towards Everson on top of Silvinho.
This came out to try and help the left back, and help Perez as well. With Adams again. Clements. Tottenham have had pretty much a free week to work on the system that Glenn Hoddle wanted to use today.
I just wondered, you know, I thought about it all week, whether I know Tottenham have been playing under George Graham with the three at the back, but Glenn at Southampton has been playing with a back four. I wondered whether he'd change it. I think the game's too big for him to have done that. I think had it been a league game, Matt, they might well have reverted to a four.
And maybe had Sol Campbell been 100% fit as well.
Yeah.
Clements. Very much a homegrown feel though about Tottenham Hotspur, with the like of Stephen Clements and Stephen Carr. Less so about Arsenal these days.
It's an Anglo-French affair for Arsenal, isn't it? 4 Englishmen, 4 Frenchmen in the starting lineup.
3 elderly Englishmen.
Yeah.
And Ray Powell. Campbell to take the free kick. Of course, played a semi-final here only 2 years ago. They lost to Newcastle. It went to extra time. Of course, extra time and penalties available. It has to be decided today. Arsenal certainly won't want penalties after their experiences last season. They lost in 3 competitions in shootouts. Campbell. Given away by Sherwood. Certainly Campbell moving well to get the ball back. That's encouraging in particular for Spurs, and Ferdinand, who's had an excellent season. Young. Rebrov taking it on the turn. Impeded as he did so. Free kick to Tottenham.
Yeah, they'll feel better, Tottenham, Martin. It's the best passage of play they've had in the match. They'll be a lot happier. And with a chance to test David Seaman. Just one, they're not blessed with a renowned specialist on the field, are they, from this sort of range? Well, they'd like their manager. That's often, isn't it?
Or Darren Anderton.
Yeah. But they've got Stephen Carr here. They've just pulled him right at the ball. I just wonder if he's involved in any shape or form here.
They're trying something elaborate involving Clements, Sherwood and Rebrov. Young. Gary Doherty stayed forward. And he's got a touchdown to Ferdinand. He's made space for a shot. Seaman saves it. Comes back to Everson. Doherty! Well, he is
big decision the young man makes to stay up as the free kick doesn't get cleared properly. First of all, he wins that, but what a save that is from David Seaman. And they get a little bit good fortune. Everson's volley, not a great one, but where does it end up? Right on the head of young Doherty. He just stays composed, uses the pace on the ball and guides it wide of David Seaman. First real attack, what a result from it.
Lucky 13 for Gary Doherty, the 13th minute of the game, and the underdogs lead in the first of the day's FA Cup semi-finals. He has got striker's instincts, of course, Doherty, and is a dual-purpose player, and it served him particularly well there. He knew where to stay in, and a miss hit from Everson. He angled in with real authority, which was something that Tottenham's play was lacking in the early minutes of the game. Wonder whether Arsenal are not just taking on Glenn Hoddle's team here, but the tide of history as well. But it is early, and it's Henry. Cleared by Perry. Paolo wasn't sure where it was going to drop. Redroth was. Ferdinand, who will probably feel he should have scored, although Seaman did get a solid frame behind it.
Good news for Spurs initially at the beginning of this game is that Ferdinand, of all the players, Martin, important that he plays well today. My goodness, his hold-up play has been excellent so far, apart from that ball out. But he's given a problem or two to Adams and Keown aerially. He's big, he's strong, he knows he has the pace to trouble him as well. And Tony Adams and Martin Keown know if Ferdinand's at his best, he can be a real handful. He started really well.
Young making good ground here. Keown has to scurry across.
Well, they're rattled, Arsenal. It's as simple as that. They were 10 minutes of really dominating the game, bright, inventive. And with the first real attack of any note from Spurs, they concede a goal.
Show. For Doherty to go forward again to make an angle for the throw, but it's only keeping it short in the end. And then the flag went up for offside. Food for thought for Arsene Wenger and Arsenal. Glenn Hoddle would be thrilled. He's a cool customer, but he admitted an hour or so before the kickoff that the occasion was getting to him. It's no doubt his love for Spurs, for all the controversy of the way he switched from Southampton. His love for a club that he used to follow and then play for with such distinction is not contested. Silvino's cross. Sullivan knocks it away, but Lauren will collect for Arsenal. Some very good work with the ball. Maybe just bobbled up for him on the cross.
I think it's a game on, I think. If we're looking for a classic cup semi-final, I thought it was vital for that, for us neutrals who wanted to enjoy this spectacle that Tottenham scored first.
Chris Perry was in a losing semi-final team for Wimbledon, as was Neil Sullivan. That was against Chelsea at Arsenal 4 years ago. Perez. Very challenges well. Everson. Poke back by Keown. Seaman's kick doesn't go anywhere near the halfway line. And John Vieira was by Clements and seen as a foul by Graham Poll. Vieira. really is a test of the temperament of the Arsenal team. Plenty of talent, no disputing that.
Test of their ability as well. There's no doubt Glenn Hoddle sent the side out basically 5-4-1 formation. Stephen Carr, Luke Young, almost playing as fullbacks against Parler and Perez. 4 across the middle, Les Ferdinand up front, and then when they get it, trying to get Everson and Rebroff from wide areas to support. So it's going to be tough to break down.
It's going to be tough for Everson and Rebroff, who want to be going the other way to maintain their discipline. They've perhaps been caught out once or twice already, but to no damage. Perez. Wiltor. Silvino. It's Young who heads away. Touch on from Show. Ferdinand fighting for this against his old foe, Tony Adams. No foul. Keogh. Spurs weren't happy with that lack of decision, if you like, from Graham Poll.
I thought he deserved a free kick for it, I have to say.
Vieira. Sherwood biting in. The whistle goes this time. And it's a free kick to Arsenal.
Les Ferdinand asking the referee the question, why? Why is that a free kick and not the one against me?
Fair enough question.
Sympathy with it.
It's a Perry. Comprehensively getting the better of Wiltor, but equally comprehensively Vieira bites back for the Gunners. Carr. Only partially away by Stefan Everson. A bit narrow for Arsenal though. Ferdinand. He gets his free kick this time.
It was worth having a word. I always think that as a player, people say you shouldn't complain, shouldn't ask the question. I think we do often enough. Keep telling us they're only human, the officials. Sometimes get your way. But it's right for counter-attack for Tottenham, Martin. They've committed so many men forward, Arsenal, even early in the match. He's even rushing along, 20 minutes into the game.
Well against Everson in the air that time. Wiltor gets it back from Vieira. Both the fullbacks pushing on for Arsenal, but Wiltor banging it way behind Lee Dixon. Wiltor is the subject now for our player cam. If you're watching our digital coverage on channel 404 with the interactive facilities. So see the highlights, and if you're a Tottenham fan you might want to look at that again and see Gary Doherty's goal. Rebroff. Lara. No support for Henry and no real options for him. Challenge for Spurs then. Adams made that his. There's an air of both sets of supporters being a bit stunned. Spurs perhaps by surprise. And Arsenal certainly shocked at being behind. Arsenal pretty much the side. Just the change at left back. Played against Tottenham in the last weekend. Plenty of changes for Spurs, and feeling that they would be stronger for them. Will they be sharper for them, of course, is down to the individual recoveries of a number of players from injury. Well, Clemens is caught, and it's Robert Pires. Is this going to be the equaliser? No.
1 foot for me. I know we're talking about an international footballer. Thought he got a bit close to him for his right foot, but they get away with this. Tim Sherwood with a sloppy little ball, and it's not reacted to quick enough, but I just thought that should have been out his feet. Left foot was the one for me, anywhere in the goal. Glorious opportunity from Perez.
Carr. Everson. Rebroff joining Ferdinand in the centre. Fione's only looped it high, and Rebroff will challenge Dixon here. Fione happy to make a right foot round it in the end, but it's back from Spurs and Sherwood. Everson.
That's obviously a tactic they're going to look for, Martin. Even the ball I think initially was aimed for Everson. It didn't quite get there, but Doherty made something of it. Everson against Silvino. Yeah.
Henry. So that's going in powerfully. And Sherwood. Spurs have to show that they can stand firm in that vital part of the match. Vieira. Sort of territory where Patrick Vieira can run the show. Young. And he's lost out here to Lara. Parler. Perez. Wiltor. Just set for either Arsenal Frenchman there.
Do you know, it's like the last 10 minutes of a cup tie at the moment. And I think they're set for the day at the moment. I can't see, unless Spurs can get hold of the ball, the shape of the game is going to change. It's going to be pressure to absorb. Look at the breakaway.
Parler. Dixon. Just sitting really at the moment and letting Lara and Parler push on, and Perez. Three of those involved here. Doherty dived in. Wiltor sped past him. Parler's missed his kick. Henry was waiting behind, but the ball passed him as well. Headed away by Campbell. Spurs lead looking precarious.
That'll be a booking. If it isn't, he's a lucky boy. Oh, he's a lucky boy, I think, Martin. I have to say, that's no worse than Chris Perry's, and Chris Perry's argument. This is beautiful play from Wiltor. Again, maybe wrong foot, maybe left foot. Should have been the favoured one. But brilliant play this was from Wiltor. Look to pick out Parler. Just a fraction ahead of him, maybe. And Henry just not up level enough. The pressure is all there.
Carr. Silvino's on the ground. Carr's on his feet and still on the ball. And Vieira trying to help out the Brazilian. Carr crowded out. Perez. Kept it in. Henry. Neil Sullivan's. There's a force from Arsenal again. They just lost it after the goal for a couple of minutes, but they picked up the flow of their football in the early stages of the game. Vieira. Silvino. Give and go with Perez. Now Silvino uses a Wiltor. Lara. Parler outside him. Lauren has a crack, can't keep it down. Well, Sky Sports 1 today, Hibernian against Rangers. Congratulations in passing to Celtic on their championship and Martin O'Neill and his men. And Monday Night Football, important one too. Middlesbrough still needing points at the bottom of the FA Carling Premiership against Sunderland, local derby with extra significance. Dixon. Silvino. Wiltor, good movement by Perez. Anti-perception in the midfield play from Arsenal. The clout up front. It probably deserves to this point, and they're trailing to Tottenham. And all that means in an FA Cup semi-final.
Some of the football Arsenal has been really pleasing on the eye, Martin.
It's Sherwood, bustles in for Spurs. Rebroff. Clements. Everson. Into the shoot. Rebroff controlled. Just slipped at the vital moment. Steered away by Keown. Wiltor. Perez. Has to check, otherwise he'd have been offside. If he'd been playing forward straight away, it was a difficult spot for Perez, who was looking in the opposite direction in truth. Carl was a bit disappointed. Can only have been played first time to be successful. Silvino. Henry. Oh, and Lee Dixon's come a long, long way. Kept out by Sullivan. And Clements, has it gone out for a corner? No.
I have to say, I cannot believe this game is still 1-0. What a run. Just carved a gaping hole through Spurs' defence. And that's a magnificent ball across goal. Again, maybe choice wrong. Henry, back post, square ball from Dixon would have been the ball. It was a very acute angle for Lee Dixon to be looking to score. This is just incessant, isn't it?
Tottenham are hanging on to the 1-0 lead given to them by Gary Doherty. Perry clears. Rebroff. Doesn't matter how you play in a cup tie, it matters what the score is at the final whistle. And Vieira got let off early. And Graham Poll just pointing out a number of challenges against Patrick Vieira.
Well, that one was more difficult for me to judge, I have to say. Let the ball get away from Everson, they end up both stretching for it. But I think having gotten away with the last one, Martin.
What we're seeing here, and the confirmation incidentally of the yellow card for Patrick Vieira, but Arsenal playing with a back four, and yet the two full-backs are playing as if there's insurance in the centre, like wing-backs, aren't they? You've got Silvino on one side, Dixon on the other.
That's what I thought. I mean, exactly what I said at the top of the show. Because Perez and Parlour can push both Tottenham's wing-backs away back, now you've got Everson and Rebroff having to chase Dixon and having to chase Sullivan, and they're leaving Ferdinand up on his own because they've got 2v1, the Keown and Adams against Ferdinand, so the two full-backs can just get the ball whenever they want. That's where all the ball is coming from. You look at it, all the ball is coming wide for Arsenal. They're getting plenty of space. Everson and Rebroff certainly will be running an empty if it continues, but to stop it, then Tottenham have to control the ball at some time, or try to. They haven't been able to do that. They're just defending and defending, looking to break, hoping to pinch another thing, or pinch another goal.
Lee Dixon might be running on empty. He's 37 years old.
He's got good engine, he has, though.
Doherty.
I'm really surprised David Seaman didn't call his skipper there. No danger whatsoever from that ball.
Campbell has to go across, and that was one thing in Sol Campbell's mind there, that Ray Parlour wasn't going past.
I think Sol knew that. Again, like Vieira, he's going to be very lucky he's not getting away with it. Yeah, I think he knew. There was one thing going past, it was either the ball or the man, but it wasn't going to be both. It's the damage he may have done as well, Martin. Is it the right ankle that was a problem? If it is, that's the one he's holding, it's the one he's nursing.
Was it 11 days ago in Albania when Sol Campbell had to go off playing for England? Insult and injury here. Mr. Beatty has done a great job to get him out there in the first place. Having to check this damage. In goes Vieira! Well, Tottenham can hardly complain, but of course Campbell is off. Vieira is in, the ball's in, and then it's 1-1.
Shades of Leicester at Charlton. Jerry Taggart off the pitch, an important big header. Probably one of the best is off, but this is a fantastic header. It's a glorious teasing ball that's sent. Does someone want to go in after it? Well, the man has been so much an inspiration to this team, along with Adams, for me in recent years, is the man who's gotten his side back in it. Patrick Vieira brings the scores level. You have to say it's been coming. It was a matter of when, and and how rather than if.
Well, you've got a foreigner here in Vieira who thoroughly understands what this fixture is all about, the culture of the North London rivalry. And if you look at Vieira's record, he's a 1 goal in 10 game man, week in, week out. But when it comes for Arsenal against Spurs, it's better than 1 in 4.
I think he's got a problem. I don't think Campbell's going to last. Ledley King, he's got to be coming on. He's got to be the one. But Tottenham, Stephen Carr looking and saying he's got no chance. It's an admitted gamble. It looks like a gamble that's going to fail within 35 minutes. He wants off.
But how ironic that the injury went on him again when he committed a cynical piece of play on the far side. And the difference with the Jerry Taggart incident, Andy, that you referred to the other weekend was, of course, Campbell was still getting treatment. It wasn't just the formality of having to go off because he had some treatment on the pitch.
I tell you what, Martin, if he's got a suspect ankle, then that it's just going to be the end of it. I have to say, when you see it like that, crumpled under Ray Parlour's body, twisted again, more damage to it, no doubt about that. And at the moment, all the noise is coming from away to our right, from the Arsenal fans.
Well, they've lost their lead, Tottenham, and they've lost their captain and their defensive linchpin. Of course, it was a risk, and in a way, so was the challenge on the far side. But Spurs were leading then, and he was prepared to take that risk, accept the yellow card for it. But Arsenal fully used the free kick, and on the balance of the game,
Martin, he's still
justice.
I mean, he's still arguing the point here. I'm really surprised when I saw it go under like that. I think he's asking John Gorman how long to half time. The answer's going to be 10 minutes.
He is to Spurs.
The thing is, Martin, you put him back on, his mobility is impaired in any way. The way Arsenal are at the moment, they really are getting at Tottenham. And any lack of movement and mobility may be crucial.
Well, they're a man short, Spurs, as well. While this goes on and these decisions are being made, and it was hard enough. 11 against the Arsenal 11. Wiltor. Henry. Wiltor. If he checked inside the Stephen Carr, then the shot was on, and
I'll tell you what, it's quite a decision. I can remember Gerard Houllier, Mark, remember here, very important league match against Man U, delayed the decision, tried to see half-time through with 10 men, Solskjaer scored.
Tepid from Pires. Maybe he was half attracted to the movement from Martin Keown across towards the near post. Oh, they're going to put some strapping on, and surely that means they're going to send him on. Paul. Lowry. First, but Dixon rips it back in, headed out by Doherty. Vieira looks for his second, all sorts of deflections there. It is a corner.
I think that's impossible. I mean, the decision's been made, he ain't going on. I think they've been very lucky here, Tottenham. That decision should and could have been made 5 minutes ago. But has it cost him a goal?
Well, Ledley King's been on standby all week. Of course, he has been in the team for most of the last 3 months. He did miss the game at Highbury. Well, it's a very sad moment for Sol Campbell personally. Tears in the eyes, one would suspect that. Lowry. Sylvania. Doherty defending against the challenge from Adams in the air, and Sullivan from Campbell, from Keown. So what they've done is they've switched Gary Doherty to the right of the three. Perry's in the centre where Campbell was playing, and Ledley King to the left where Doherty was. Parlour, who burst past King, and is a millimetre or two away from putting Arsenal in front for the first time in this semi-final.
Well, I have to say, Mark, for the third time I'm going to question the decision. Alright, maybe he's taking a shot on, but yet again there's another. Look at Wiltord, anything across the face. 3 times Arsenal got through on the right hand side, 3 times they've ignored a player square on goal. Rolls his head, he wonders why it's still 1-1. Half-time can't come soon enough for Spurs, and Glenn Hoddle, whether he'll change it, Martin, he'll need to change something. I don't think they can absorb this sort of pressure for 90 minutes in a match.
Dix.
It looks pretty closer than that, but it's been dominant, I have to say. The pressure.
Henry. Thierry Henry hasn't figured too much for Arsenal in the FA Cup. He started in the 5th round and they win over Chelsea. Scored from the penalty spot in that game. That gives you some idea of the domination that Arsenal have had of this opening 40 minutes. Lack of accuracy though keeps Tottenham in it. Parlour. Well, Stephen Carr's an angry young man at the moment. He was the one calling for the decision to be made on the substitution. He's gesticulating to his teammates to be more positive. Spurs losing more ground in midfield in that last Arsenal attack that Carr himself had to defuse. Wiltord. Away by King.
Arsenal would love this game just to run now, Mark. Just run the full course without a stop, without half-time. Tottenham, on the other hand, are absolutely the opposite.
That's been a functional approach by Glenn Hoddle with John Gorman and Chris Hughton. Both of those, like the manager, former Tottenham players. Dixon. Parlour. It's one of those occasions where a forward comes across to try and prevent a defender clearing and is a little bit late. There's Ferdinand catching Keown.
Yeah, they can be nasty, these. Fortunately, it doesn't catch him too badly.
There's a sort of a gloom about Tottenham, but it is 1-1. You shouldn't forget that. Despite the departure of Campbell, despite Vieira's equaliser, despite Arsenal bossing long periods of this first half. Keown. Silvino. Wiltord. Perez. Flag is up.
It's very close, that, Matt, I'll tell you. He looked like he might have just drifted in early, but it was really, really close. Again, lovely football. You see Stephen Carr's the one who's creeping round. And then as the ball's playing, oh dear, that could have stayed down quite easily.
Arsenal first to it again with Henry. Everson.
Just can't keep it, man, can they? Any little they've had of the ball, it's just been lost possession immediately. They've given it away.
Solo approach from Thierry Henry. Again, the number of other Tottenham players who have been missing from matches, missing training. Stephen Clement's only just recently able to resume full training, and only needed because of that injury in the preparation for this game to Stefan Freund, who would have started. Tim Sherwood's been out a month or so. Stephen Carr last began a game in December against the Glenn Hoddle team then. It's at Southampton. King. Sherwood spreading it to Carr. Clements. Rebroff. Loosely away by Adams for once, so Sherwood gets it to Rebroff.
Too little of the little Ukrainian Martin. It's the first real glimpse we've seen of him. He's been a little bit like a lost soul on that left-hand side. Plenty stoppage time, 3 minutes I think it was there. So it's Rebroff. They've got to find a way at half-time, Tottenham, to get him involved in the game. At the moment, all he's done has been Lee Dixon's shadow. Again, he's running back towards his own goal.
Everson's been dragged in by Perez. He's obviously meriting a ploy that worked very well for Glenn, the Southampton players.
With a back four, and it's slightly different because you've got three in midfield for Glenn's team then, and he's only got the two in Clements and Sherwood. They really are having to work extremely hard. Parler and Perez have done ever so well because they haven't stayed wide, Mark. They've tucked into the centre as well. They've really given Tottenham a problem.
It's quite extraordinary that we're looking at a level half-time scoreline, given the nature of the football in this first half at Old Trafford, which has proved to be an inspired choice by the Football Association, the biggest available ground in the country to accommodate the demand for the semi-final. Maybe they've taken a chance in other aspects. From a football point of view, it's all going very favourably. Wiltor. Lowry. Rebroff defending well for Spurs. Ferdinand. Has to get support from behind. Carr. King. And Clements. A bit of possession for Spurs. No feature of the first period. Plenty of pluck, and a great moment for them when they took the lead.
Well, I think any little period like this, Mark, it can only be good for Spurs. It gives the defenders a respite and gives them a little bit of confidence.
Henry. He's got Wiltor in here. Sylvain Wiltor. Good work by Perry.
Chance gone.
But it's an appropriate note to end the first half on. Another Arsenal opportunity that they haven't taken. Gary Doherty took his chance early in a dramatic first 45 minutes here. But then they lost Sol Campbell, did Spurs the gamble of playing him, and immediately lost the equaliser to Patrick Vieira's header. Plenty to talk about in the dressing rooms and in our studio at half-time. It's 1-1 at Old Trafford.
It's been a good half, hasn't it? That's the first semi-final underway. One apiece, Gary Mabbutt and Alan Smith when we come back. Reaction to the first 45, which is level at half-time.